Regardless if you're a big or small YouTube channel, today we will be, of course, discussing a movie that is actually quite fitting in that statement, and that is the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
If you're not familiar, this is actually the third installment for the Ant-Man and the Wasp solo series, and all the original cast is back, other than, of course, Cassie Lang. Of course, she's had three iterations of the character herself. We had the little girl from the first and second Ant-Man, then we had, of course, the teenage version in Endgame, and now we actually have the actress who played in the Blumhouse series. Since time is a heavy hitter with this movie, it actually plays along the lines of the fact that Scott has been absent from Cassie's life, whether if it's when she was a little girl, when he was stuck in the quantum realm, or when she, of course, is growing up now. She was incarcerated in jail twice that we find out in the movie, and he's not aware of it, only the second time he is. So that's how time plays in part of their relationship. When it comes to Hope and her mom, of course, that plays a key factor because her mom was trapped in the quantum realm. And unlike Cassie and Scott, or Hope and Janet, Kang the Conqueror, we are introduced, and the time is important to him only because of the fact that really, I believe he's the King the Conqueror that set all the different timelines to just one timeline itself, or who helped create that one timeline. Because in the film, he does discuss about how all of his other variants went crazy, creating multiple timelines and creating a word that we've heard before, incursions. Now, if you're not familiar with incursions, of course, it does showcase in the comic books itself, not just once, but multiple times throughout the actual comic book series. And it's when two universes basically collide, and it causes mayhem, it causes issues. We actually saw this in Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. But that's what he's trying to stop. Ultimately, he gets trapped in the quantum realm with Janet, but he is trapped by his own variants because he went crazy. And we, of course, find that throughout the flick itself. Now, when it comes to the cinematography of the flick, it is very well done. It captures all the CGI into it really well, to the point where it's very hard to tell on whether or not if it's CGI. Obviously, you can tell large ants are CGI, that's fine, but there's a difference between a large ant, you can tell when it's computer generated, or if you can tell that it's animation, and really well done animation, and it's just that. When it comes to the film and whether or not if it does well throughout the series, unlike Thor, where it kind of went downhill from Ragnarok, it actually does play steady on what we know and what we love about the Ant-Man series. Now, it does have the humor from the previous Ant-Man films. It does have the, of course, concepts that made Ant-Man as successful as it is today. But the one thing that I will say is it adds a little dash of Ragnarok in there. I'm not saying about the humor, but the story itself with the characters and the presentation of the characters and how we had the characters in Ragnarok as well. They're very similar in that aspect. So as far as that goes, it's a little hit, not too much. It doesn't take you away from what you love about all the other Ant-Man films. When it comes to the villain, Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors does a wonderful job. He's so charismatic to the point where he's actually sympathetic in a way. It's one of those situations where if he was there in front of you, he can get you to do whatever you want to do if you didn't know who he was, because he's just very well with his words. He's very charismatic, as well as he's very manipulative too. But if you get on his wrong side, you're dead, basically. And with that, we do get introduced to a new villain, MODOK. Of course, MODOK is shown in the trailer a little bit. He is referenced if you've seen anything as far as the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania information, he's there. Now, I won't say who MODOK is, just in case if that is a little spoiler warning. So I'll just say this. MODOK is in the film. A little disappointed just because he is in the comic book series a Avengers major level threat. However, in this film, I understand why they dialed him down a lot, because he's not in, of course, Ultron. He's not a Thanos, and he's not a King the Conqueror. He is just MODOK. And when you see him, you'll understand why they kind of dialed him down. Though I do wish that kind of lasted a little bit longer. Still, regardless, for what we get with MODOK, I enjoyed it. Now, the film itself was very funny, and when it needed to be sympathetic, which it very much so, because again, it's about parents and their kids trying to get as much time as possible with the time that they have left, since they missed a lot during that time period. But regardless, though, I really enjoyed the flick. It was very well, it was very fun. Unlike Phase 4, where it's all about mourning, this definitely sets up Phase 5 in a very positive note. Now, unlike Thor, like I said, Thor 4, disastrous. I hated Love and Thunder. But this is what you love with the Ant-Man series with a sprinkle of Ragnarok to it. So it adds many great qualities to the film, to the series alone. And honestly, I'm looking forward to a fourth Ant-Man and the Wasp if they come to that. But regardless, though, that is my review on it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it kind of painted a picture a little bit more. It is a little bit family friendly in a way. And yeah, if you guys have seen it, let us know. Leave a comment below. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms. And we'll see you next time as we go for 80 for Brady.